Hello everyone, and welcome to an episode of The Demons Within Us, a mental health Q&A, where I, Knock Knock Neo, your host, will go through mental health questions and mental health related questions, and I'm hoping to reach a broader audience for those who are trying to self-help with their mental health issues. Sometimes those that we seek help from, counselors, those that we try to talk to, parents and stuff like that, they're not always the most helpful, maybe because they're not trained or they haven't been going through what we're going through. Maybe they just don't understand a perspective or anything like that. I'm just trying to just help the community and share my own experiences and what I've learned in during my own journey. So for those who have subscribed, firstly, thank you very much for subscribing. You're really helping these videos circulate through the YouTube world and helping it become more accessible to other people. I know it's been a while. To those of you who are looking forward to these videos, I try to do them weekly, but I don't know if anybody's noticed. It's been a while. I've been going through my own stuff, and when I go through my own stuff, it's hard for me to do anything else. So that's why I've sort of been away. But I'm back. Things are a little bit better, so my mind's a lot clearer, and I can continue on with these videos. After I go through the questions, I do have some announcements to make. So if you want to stay tuned for that, I'll be greatly appreciated. But let's get started. So the first one is actually going to be an update from a previous video. So a while ago, I did a video called Too Broken to Date or Even Have Friends. And the person who created the post decided to give me an update. So here it is. I want to read it because he goes through a few things that I want to address. So I'm the guy from the second post, just want to give an update. I went for it, but it turns out she's not into dudes, so rip that. But it is what it is. I'd be lying if I said I wasn't upset, but she was cool about it and we sort of laughed it off. It's not my first, be a bit awkward, but I can manage. It's not my first time being turned down. I'm a bit hurt, but I'll get over it. Just a little more experience under my belt. Okay. So, the reason why rejection hurts for those, especially for, okay, so rejection is obviously rejection, but there are different ways that we can handle it. So for most people who don't suffer from mental health issues, the rejection is an isolated incident that pertains to only that incident, right? So for example, so if somebody wanted to give a killer presentation at work and that got rejected, they will take that rejection and understand that it would only pertain to that particular presentation and the work that was involved in the particular presentation. For those with mental health issues, what we do is that we take that rejection and we amplify it, and it pertains to our whole lives. So if we believe we gave a really good presentation at work and it was rejected, we tend to take that personally and say, I'm so crap, I'm such a piece of shit, then I can't do anything right, and then you start to spiral downward. That's not good. And the reason why rejection is so, I guess, what's the word? It hits us stronger is because those with mental health issues, we suffer from self-worth issues already. We already believe deep down inside that we're already shitty. We already believe that we're not good at what we do and that we deserve to basically die because we're not good at and we can't do anything. So what life is pretty much worthless. What we need to do is number one, understand that the rejection is only for that thing that is that it's pertaining to. Okay, that's number one. That's what it says here. And I also want to tell that person that to not hurt too much because the girl wasn't even into guys, it was into girls. So there was nothing that you can do, and nothing, and through no fault of your own, as to why you were rejected in the first place. So that's what I said here in this comment here when I commented. Now, what's interesting about South of Hex response is this part. What's upsetting me most, aside from the disappointment, is just that feeling that life has something against me. Like there's always something stopping things from going my way no matter what it is. I had to have a couple of beers last night to keep my mind off of it and help me sleep, and I've been smoking a lot more today. But hopefully it'll pass soon. I'm kind of optimistically pessimistic, if that explains it well. So that's normal. We got hurt, we lick our wounds, we drink, we smoke, we overeat, we, go extra hard at the gym or whatever it is that we have to do to cope, right? That's, and then eventually it'll pass and we pick ourselves up and whatnot. But the one thing that I really want to comment on is the feeling that life has something against me. Okay, I've been there. I've totally been there. I think maybe all of us have been there, maybe not all of us, but I know I have been there. And what I can really say about that is to mitigate that feeling that something is against you is to actively increase your chances to prevent things from getting out of your way. Now, with this particular situation, if you haven't listened to the video, basically there was a girl at work, and they chatted, they get along, they joked around a couple of times. She was kind of cute. They like the same music and stuff like that. Now, he may or may have not asked her more in-depth questions about her sexuality, about her preferences, and stuff like that. So to mitigate that feeling that life has something against you, you need to increase your odds of winning. That's really helped me. So in order to increase your odds of winning, for this particular situation, what this person could have done is talk to that person a lot more about who they are. Because it's not enough to ask a person out on a date based on similar music tastes, you know, have jokes at work, stuff like that. That just makes you really good work buddies, right? But if you want to get to know a person on a more personal level, you may have to ask more personal questions before you shoot your shot and ask that person out. Because if all you're doing is just, is just making jokes at work and just sharing and knowing similar interests, you're not going to know what kind of person that he or she is going to be as a partner, or even what that he or she prefers in a partner. Because what you basically did was you jumped from co-workers to intimate partners, and that's a big leap, right? What I would have done, or what I recommend for this person to do for future, is to take that process a lot slower and ask more questions personally. Start with, similar interests and stuff like that. And then once you realize that you have similar interests, go a little bit deeper in asking more personal questions. Doesn't have to necessarily have to be about their sexuality or anything like that, but talk about their beliefs, or talk about things, I don't know, like just talk about things that are a lot deeper than just surface level things, such as likes and interests, you know what I mean? What they do with their hobbies, or what they do with their spare time. Maybe they'll mention in their what they do with their spare time is they spend a lot of time with their girlfriend or their spouse or whatever, like that, stuff like that. That is really going to mitigate your feeling of something getting in the way, or that something has something, or that something has something out there has something against you. Because that's really not, well, I can't say that's not true. I personally don't believe that's true. I just have different viewpoints. I can't tell you that's not true for you. Some people out there really believe that there are things out there going against them, and I really understand that. But I am also a big believer in people getting in their own way, right? Have you heard the quote of, you are your own worst enemy, right? So if you ever heard of knowledge is power, that's what I would say in this situation as well. If you have a feeling of something against you or something going against you, increase your odds of winning by getting more information, right? And once you have more information, then you can determine whether or not shooting your shot with this person is the way to go. Overall, that's how I would handle rejection. So I would get rejected, I would lick my wounds, and I would try to figure out, what went wrong? What can I do to increase my odds of, winning the next time? Okay, I hope that helps. Okay, so next, oh, and South Effect, thank you very much for the update. I really appreciate it. It gave me something to talk about because feeling rejected is something that basically we all go through. And understanding that, like I said, that the feeling of rejection is really pertaining to that one thing alone, and it doesn't color our entire world. Helping to understand that really helps. And number two, um, gathering more information, um, going through things that you believe will increase your chances of winning, that you can beat the odds, will also help decrease the odds of you getting rejected as well. Okay. All right. So next one. I am very confused with myself. Sex after a sexual assault. Okay, I keep putting myself through a cycle of craving sex and attention from men and whatnot. Then after I do it, I feel nasty and used and disgusting. Then I say I don't want to have sex anymore, but a few days, weeks later, I'm craving it again. I don't know why I put myself through this. Is it a way of coping with my assault, maybe? Okay. Um, Before I get into this question, I just want to say a few things about sexual assault. If you have been sexually assaulted, you will feel you will feel guilty and you will feel shame, which is normal. But those feelings of guilt and shame are associated with the victim who is blaming themselves for the assault. Maybe you felt that you never should have been at that place at that time. You never should have worn what you wore at that place at that time, right? Or you never should have did this, or you never should have did that. Don't do that to yourself. Okay, do not do that to yourself. Do not believe that whatever it is that you wore is the reason why you got sexually assaulted, or the reason why you did this is the reason why you got sexually assaulted. That is not true. People are responsible for themselves. Okay, you were at that place at that time wearing whatever it is you were wearing and behaving in whichever way you were behaving. The other people who were watching you, doing whatever it is that you were doing, wearing whatever what is that you were wearing, behaving the way whatever it is you were behaving, are responsible for themselves, and it was their choice to wake up that day and choose rape. That was their choice, and their choices are their responsibility. They're free to do whatever they want, and you are free to do whatever you want. Blaming yourself is not the way to go. What happens when you blame yourself is your self-worth will tank. It will absolutely tank because you believe that you caused it. You believe deep down inside that you're the reason why you got assaulted, and that is not true. You're not the reason why you got assaulted. I don't care what you were. I don't care how you behaved. I don't care whatever it is that you said. It takes two, okay? The victim and the assaulter, if that's even a word. The victim and the perpetrator. Okay, it is the perpetrator's responsibility, or is that person's responsibility to um, to basically not rape you or not sexually assault you. That's their responsibility, right? So now I understand. Now there are real dangers out there, right? There are dangers. You walk into, a part of town that you're new to, and you don't know the rules or anything like that. Like danger is very real, and there are things that we can do to mitigate danger. And a lot of the times, danger is all around us, and there's nothing that we can do, right? But that doesn't make it our fault. That's number one. Okay, number two is I'm going to answer this post right here. So as you can see here, before I do that, I already answered it, but I'm going to make a video about it again because I think it's a really important one. So so two things are going on with this person. Um, because you were sexually assaulted, you were basically abused. And that, how do I say this? And you, okay, you know what? Let me just bring it back for a little bit. I'm a little bit rusty. Please forgive me because it's just been so long. Um, okay, so the cycle of craving sex and attention from men. Okay, that's personal validation, right? Because you were a victim of abuse, you now believe that that is what you have to offer, or you now identify with your sexuality. Like you use sexuality as personal validation. You don't know who you are anymore because you've been sexually abused, but you know that you've been wanted for your sexuality. So you will continue to flaunt your sexuality for personal validation, right? But after you do it, you feel nasty, right? Because at the end of the day, using your sexuality for personal validation is not the way to do it. You really want to be feel you really want to feel like a human being again. That's really what you want. You want to be valued for your humanity, which is why you say you don't want to have sex anymore, right? Because now that you've had sex, you feel personally validated, but you got personally validated for the wrong reasons, and then you feel disgusted with yourself because you got validated for the wrong reasons, and then you say, you know what, I don't want to have sex anymore because that's not who I am, that's not what I want to do, and that's not what I'm all about, right? But then a few days, weeks later, you're craving it again. Again, that's because instead of you personally validating yourself, you're using external validation to you as to personally validate yourself. That's codependent behavior. And codependent behavior is very typical for those who have been abused, not even necessarily sexually abused, um, physically abused, verbally abused, highly criticized with their family or from other people, stuff like that. Codependent behavior is typical of abuse victims, right? And that's basically why you're putting yourself through this, right? You were abused, you were sexually abused, you now believe that all you are is just your body. So you use that to personally validate yourself, but because it's not true validation, you feel nasty to do it, but then you crave it a week later because it's not real validation. Okay. I think that is all I have to say about that. I know these two are really short. Like I said, it's been 2 months. I've sort of been out of it, so please forgive me. Um, but that is just the two questions that I want to go through with you today. So, announcements that I want to make. I have decided to pursue this YouTube video channel, mental health Q&A channel. Um, I decided to pursue it a lot more. I didn't know what I really wanted to do with it. I just knew that it was something that was really important to me, and it gave me a sense of meaning in my life because I feel like this thing gives me purpose, so knowing that I want to pursue this not necessarily full time, but I want to pursue this a little bit deeper. So I will be creating a web page. I will be creating an Instagram page, and I'll be on Twitter and all that kind of stuff like that. So stay tuned for those updates. I'll be letting you know when the website is up and when all the Twitter and Instagram stuff and stuff like that will be up. And I'm also offering one-on-one chats for those who need somebody to talk to. For those of you who don't know, who have not checked out my intro, I have a bachelor's in psychology, so it's not like I just spew this out of nowhere. I have a bachelor's in psychology, so I'm formally trained in this topic, and I've been using my knowledge to basically help myself. I've been going through a lot of things on my own way, and a lot of the knowledge that I've acquired helped me through my own experiences. And my own experiences allow me to reach out and help a lot of people. Okay, so I offer 45-minute chats and 2-hour chats, one-on-one, either through a phone call or through a text chat, however, which way you prefer. And if you're interested, I will post that information in the description of the video. But quickly, you can check out. You can buy time. You can buy a 45-minute chat or a 2-hour chat on buymeacoffee.com/demonswithinus. And like I said, I'll post that at the bottom through the description. And I think that's all my announcements. And once again, thank you very much for liking and for subscribing and to help spread the word for this Q&A. If you need anybody to talk to, oh, you can also email me for free. My email address is knockknockneoyt@gmail.com. So if you need help with your perspective, maybe your counselor's not helping you, you have no one to talk to, you can talk to me. You can email me, we can set up a chat to talk, and I'll be more than happy to listen to what you have to say. And if you want some perspective on what you're going through, I'll be happy to give that as well. So thank you very much, and I'll see you guys again soon. Take care.